Hi, this is Scott Trout, CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. There are many life changes that can happen after divorce that make it difficult or impossible to uphold requirements of your divorce decree. The orders issued in a divorce are based on the facts presented at that time, but the circumstances used in issuing those orders can obviously change. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell.
Contact CordellCordell.com, 1065 East Hillsdale Boulevard, Suite 310, Foster City, California, 94404.
I mean, could get weird.
I'm so excited about that. It's really all I live for.
I don't care. Have you listened to the podcast?
You're listening to the Brian Moote Show.
It started today.
With Brad Nolan.
Sounds good, man. Sounds high quality.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, we're putting like radio equipment to use, so it should. If it sounded awful like we were in your bedroom. Well, what if we were in your bedroom, Brad? See how I'm name branding you?
Yeah.
Brad.
Yeah.
I'm Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian Moote, with Brad Nolan. If we were at your place in your apartment taping a podcast, one, Declan would be running around shrieking and screaming.
Yes, absolutely. That is the first thing that would be happening there.
She seems like the kind of gal, Brad's daughter, who's 3, who, when you tell her like not to touch something, like that's the first thing she's touching.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then she'll do it, and then she'll like kind of look at you as she's doing it, and then she touches it, and I said no. And she goes, I'm sorry. And then she has a whole breakdown.
She's like, I dare you. In with us today is Shireen Thor, who also is a mother. Do you have any of your kids like that special kind of jerk at times?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
totally.
That's a jerk move to do the thing where like, don't touch me. Don't touch that.
My number one. She's like a little a-hole.
It's Maya, right?
Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, a-hole's fine.
Yeah, she's wild, dude. Like from the second she came out of the womb, she's like, made me her B word. I'm just on one with the cuss words today.
I'm just on one. Hey, you're a mom. You're allowed to just be on one. That's a legitimate excuse.
Yeah.
You're now on the
yeah,
inside of what I like to call the circle of trust.
There you go.
So you're allowed to be that as a mom. I will say, I think a lot about being a man and growing up as a man is understanding when sometimes you just have to be like, don't understand it, but I get it.
Yeah,
I'll never understand. I was having this conversation today with somebody where I was trying to explain like when the woman in your life is having like emotional reactions to things that they shouldn't be this emotional about, and you just want to go like, babe, is it coming?
It was
like,
me, yeah.
You feel the flow?
Yeah.
You feel it?
Terrible.
You feel it headed your way?
Well, it's funny, too. Like, not just that, but, like, you can also... They do the same thing when they know they've been wrong about something.
Right.
So they start this whole, like, oh, I'm going to start being playful and weird instead of just being like, hey, I'm sorry. I messed that up.
I mean, really all they got to do, and I don't know, do you have any of these tricks, Shireen? I'm sure you do. Where, because you're a woman.
Trickery.
Where anytime you know you're wrong, like you'll do like ninja magic, whoops, he'll forget that he was mad. Like my girlfriend will literally, she'll do a thing where when I get her painted into a corner where she's wrong, she'll go like, take your pants off. And I'm like, I know what you're doing.
She knows what she's doing.
No.
Oh, yeah.
You're wrong.
And I'll take my pants off.
Fine. We'll talk about it later.
You're
All right, so
listening to the Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
Brad, you're the one who knows
It's
what
like
this
I've
stuff
never
is.
been in radio before.
All right. So, oh man, we have so much to talk about today. God, it's gonna be a fun show. We're talking about cheating scandals. We're talking about marriage proposal fails. All these fun things. But what we got to get to first is so Shireen Thor hangs out on the show a lot. She's gonna be on the show a lot. We have some awkward history that we'll get into that I was only made aware of today. But first,
That's terrible.
first,
What?
aware of. First, I want to talk about, Brad, do you have the imaging where you talk about being a swinger? Can you play that real quick?
No, I don't have it.
It's got to be in there
It's a
somewhere.
secret
Where is that?
that he doesn't want to tell right now.
No, we're going to play it.
I don't have it.
Yeah, you do.
I can't find it.
Really? You're so organized.
Oh, yeah. I don't know which one this is.
All right, well, don't worry about it. Brad has, you'll hear it at some point on the show today. Brad has some imaging where he says...
I don't say it.
And you have to listen closely because he says, in 10 years, my wife says we can, we'll be swingers in 10 years, right? And if you're listening casually, what you'll hear, what you'll latch in on is swingers.
Yeah.
So Shireen and Brad have been like texting back and forth about the show, about doing things, right? And so Shireen was like, hey, this might be an awkward question to ask you, but like, so like, that swinger thing with Brad and his wife, like, is that real? And I'm like, oh, yeah. His wife literally said in 10 years, like, we can be swingers. Like, well, you know, we'll liven it up a little bit. You know, we're raising a dog. Once she's old enough to go out on her, you know, hey, go watch a movie. Maybe we'll have the neighbors over, throw the keys in a bowl.
Yes.
Who knows?
7 years, 9 months, 30 days.
Not that anyone's counting.
You got like an advent calendar of fun. You open a window, bored. So
I'm in trouble for this one.
So Shireen was like, yeah, okay. Oh, so 10 years from now. I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, okay, cool. 'Cause I feel like I was like reading Brad's texts a little wrong.
You know, because you kept sending me the heart emoji. Like
I send that to Brian.
That's what's funny. So I don't think, because I know you and I know your sense of humor, and
it's
so
weird.
Brad will write like he'll ask me for something, and I'll give him the answer, something he needs, because Brad is a detail-oriented individual who wants to, you know, like make sure things are gonna run smoothly. And she's like, yeah, well, you sent me like this double heart.
Yeah,
eyeball.
it's like the one with the eyeballs and the hearts and the eyes. Like, you know, I was like, oh, is this guy flirting? Like, is he really a swinger?
Right. So then she's concerned. Like, I was like, no, well, one, you have 7 years before that matters.
True.
But here's the best part, Brad. I then scrolled through my phone, and I'm not even kidding you, because I told her, I was like, hey, no, Brad sends emojis like a lot, and he thinks it's funny. He thinks it's a funny thing to do, and it is funny, but I literally did 2 swipes of my thumb, and I found you going, heart emoji, thanks. And she's like, oh my God. Oh, I felt so awkward.
That is awesome. Here's my thing. I think that it's hilarious, and 99.9% of my jokes are for me. I don't care if anybody else knows that they're funny. I don't care about anything.
The trait of a successful comedian. My jokes are
just
for me.
Talking to one person, and that's me.
I sell out every show I do.
A long time ago in college, I started doing this thing where I would say, thanks, babe, to dude friends, just to see if this is pre-emoji, right?
Just to bust them on their like homophobia type.
Yes, because I was in the Army, and it was hilarious to me that there was this group of people that were like, oh, what are you talking about? I'm not babe. Did you say it's the wrong person? And it was always funny to me. And now the emoji thing is, I mean, I was just scrolling. I sent our boss today 4 heart emoji things, like, but it was like the 4 different versions of it. It was like the actual heart, then the heart emoji eyes, and then like the hug you thing.
This is so amazing, Brad. I mean, I gotta be honest, this makes me love you so much more.
Yeah,
it made me laugh but it's only because, like, had she seen those those emojis in a text, she only inferred that from the fact, and this is what I love about radio, is that people casually listen and buzzwords get them, right? So you mentioned something like swinger, and all of a sudden it's like, excuse me? I don't know, what was that? Swinger talk? We're talking about swingers? And then she's like, I really don't know Brad that well. I'm like, is he legit a swinger? I'm like, not for 10 years. But
I love that. 7 years, 9 months, 30 days.
I love that you're counting down.
Or 10 years.
And then also, so Shreen and I talked a little bit, and we were like, she was like, yo, you know, I want to, like, we've been friends forever, but we like fell out of touch. She got married, like, we've known each other for a long time. And she's like, I was like stalking. So you went on a little stalking.
Yeah. I like to do the stalking. I like it. It's like research, but relationship research.
And she started going through our Facebook message history, Brad.
From years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking.
I was a major creep. It was good.
7-8 years ago. And she brings that up. I got to be honest. Nervous. I'm a different person now. We need to relive those moments.
Wait, what moments are we reliving?
Going through the messages where I'm like nervous about it.
No, relax. This has never happened.
It didn't happen.
I didn't know if we were about to do a weird radio thing, you know, like in the studio, but we don't have the camera equipment ready. I didn't know.
I'm just going to tease it for the next segment. We can find out how weird it got. How weird did it get, Shireen?
Super weird, dude. So weird.
Oh, you're recording? Oh, God. I'm always incriminating myself before we start the show.
I was about to hit the thing and it didn't work. Again, this is like my first day in radio or
I
something.
mean, we had such good chemistry right there for like the pre-break
the
banter.
thing you guys didn't know I was leaving in the podcast.
I know, which I played for Shireen, so now we're a little more tight-lipped on how how flappy by the gums we get before we start recording.
If you had screwed something up, I wouldn't have left it in.
Here we have Brad Nolan
I think my daughter is probably the coolest thing that I've ever done.
and Brian Moote.
Kids are monsters, and especially when they're honest with you.
Just two boys living in a Barbie world. The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
I'm the Brad Nolan part. Brian Moote, say hello.
Hey, I'm the one who started panicking when Shireen said she was going through our DMs.
Shireen Thor is in studio, life coach and former DM awkward purveyor.
Married Shireen Thor with children, happily married to Kenny Thor.
That's right.
Not
Lay it
Thor
all out
Thor.
Today's the 4-year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Congratulations.
Thank you. God, you guys are amazing.
Yeah.
17 DJ horns.
I got one, too.
You are one pathetic loser.
Oh, that was the wrong sound.
Sorry.
I still liked it. It's like his heart emojis. It's, you know.
Just fires on
He
my
just
brain.
likes to be random.
I send hard inappropriate emojis to all genders.
Wait till when he starts sending like the eggplant one, then you know it's real.
I'm like,
Right?
Definitely.
Totally. That's the mark.
You know you've hit that point with Brad Nolan.
I'm going to send it to you right now.
no, he's going to say, yeah, I was like, it's happening. Okay.
So I had Shireen meet my brother and I at a bar real quick, just to have a beer. He was down there with my cousin Kevin, who's in town, and we're just talking about like our history. And she says like I had to Facebook stalk our message a little bit because we realized she didn't know a lot about my life. Where it was like my dad went to prison for 5 years, I got married and divorced.
It's true.
She didn't know those things. Now I knew that she's married with kids. I knew that. And then she says she's going through our direct messages on Facebook, and she's like, they're super flirty, and like, why did we never like, have a thing or hook up or whatever. And there's two things that happened. First, one time Shireen came out to Boston when I was living there going to graduate school, and she was doing this RV trip, right? What was it called?
My husband never listens to this, by the way. Holy crap.
He's listening right now.
Kenny, we're fine. It's called good radio.
Kenny's parked in the other room listening to the live feed.
He's literally going to beat you up right now.
Not even close to true. So Shireen shows up in an RV.
Yeah, okay. So I did this road trip across the United States of America, visited Brian in Boston, like, sup, homie.
And her and her friend stayed in my room. Her and her friend stayed in my room, and nothing went down.
That's right.
Nothing went down.
We spooned.
We're going to find out more details on what actually went down. Probably in the DMs next.
Uh-oh.
Here we have Brad Nolan
I think my daughter is probably the coolest thing that I've ever done.
and Brian Moote.
He's a swinger.
Monsters.
He's a swinger.
Stop it.
Brad's also a swinger.
Okay.
You can try to play some other ones?
You're gonna play any other? I just stopped it.
Oh, I thought you were going to play the swinger one.
I don't know where.
No, please play the one where it talks about me being a commitment phobe while we're talking about this awkward history from 10 years ago.
That's exactly why nothing ever happened.
Brad Nolan is a dad and a Harley rider.
Oh,
Brian
come on.
Moote is scared of commitment and wears a seatbelt.
There it is.
I found that one.
With Brad
Nice.
Weird.
When I didn't need you to do it.
Oh,
I wanted you to have the swinger one. You
Yeah.
found the one.
We're still trying to roast Brad over here.
All right, so
works.
Stop
we did talk.
sending
We
eggplants.
did talk about the fact that. So I am. No, I'm not a commitment phobe.
No?
I was.
You
no.
used to-
were. Oh, you were.
We
Okay.
will okay, time out. We will change the imaging to say former commitment phobe.
Recovering commitment phobe. I'm in recovery. I could relapse at any time. That's
true. That's true.
I'm
Tried
never
to
going to
dig-
be cured of it.
Try to dig you out of the hole, throw yourself right back in.
Whatever,
So
man.
I'm
That's
out of
why
it.
I live in the hole. Oh, that's a great piece of audio for with Brian Moote. I live in the hole. I'm always in trouble. So we were talking about it because Shireen and I have always had like a really fun banter and been great friends, and nothing's ever happened. And we've always been like super fun and upbeat on messages, like flirty, like yo boo, what's up, babe, like all that stuff. And nothing ever has come close to happening between us. And I realized one reason why, because she said on DMs. Or what was it? Trying to get a hold of me and track me down for plans was what?
I said we were always trying to make plans, but like almost never worked.
Right.
Never worked. And the reason is because it's not when I look back at my 20s, anyone who I had like a legitimate friendship with and like fun, and I would immediately like there's no way anything romantic happens because I was such a commitment phobe. When you like start messing around with someone that you actually like have like friendships with, and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you go from rando hookup to like boyfriend girlfriend overnight.
Yeah.
Right? And so back in the day, I was less flirty with the girls that I was like hooking up with because I didn't want them catching feelings.
Yeah, that was a business. It's like a business decision.
It's weird.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you just want to, it's all like baggage and awful like walls and things like that. You know what I
Definitely
mean?
need counseling.
So
I've
much
been
to
through
unpack
it.
there.
I've been counseling.
Is that why you wanted a life coach on this show? It's really just like personal interest.
Well, we just need a female perspective on here. So Brad and I are just talking about Harleys and scooters and the Me Too movement all the time from a mansplaining perspective.
You can actually listen to it now. There was a segment we did where we were going to do a whole story. They were like, maybe we should save this for when there's a girl in the room.
We really don't have much of a perspective.
Something about body shaming.
I feel like we had some funny discussions about all this stuff because like I'm not a commitment phobe now. I love my girlfriend. She is awesome. I'm in trouble with her a lot because I am a little bit of a steamroller sometimes in terms of like reading signs and things. And we started having a conversation. Pat said something about like Brian's not single. And I was like, yeah, I'm not. And Shereen's like, well, I kind of look at you as single, but she's married. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, man, that reminds me about a big fight that my girlfriend and I had where I said on the radio I was single. I was like, I'm a single dude, but I meant unmarried.
You did have a fight about that? I was curious when it happened. In the moment,
boy.
I was like, oh, is that going to be a fight?
Dude,
I should check back in on this.
She hit me with a text that said, say that one more time. On the air. Say you're single one more time on the air. And you are.
Yeah.
You are single. And I was like, and I backtracked immediately. And I was like, whoa. On the air live. I was like, no, I don't mean like single. I have a girlfriend. I love her. She's the best.
Yeah.
But I mean unmarried. And we were kind of talking about this. Once you go through the whole process, get married, and then divorced, dating, I mean, that's just... Yeah.
It's just hanging out. It's just hanging out.
Am I digging myself a bigger hole? No, it's not hanging out. But you know what I mean? Like you've gone through the divorce. You've seen the whole process.
Yes.
And you realize the difference between checking a box on your tax returns as single. There's no dating box.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
and there should be. That should be a write-off. I spend more money dating my girlfriend than I've ever spent. Actually, that's not true if she's listening. I spent more in the divorce.
Well,
which is a write-off.
Although I was going to say, like, maybe that's why the divorce, right? If you're spending more money dating now than you ever did during your marriage,
well,
I'll
say the divorce is pricey. That's a bit, but you can write that off.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know.
I don't know why I just said that two happily married people. Hey, guys, don't worry. You need a write-off.
You're going to be all right.
Start screwing around in the DMs. See what happens.
Send more eggplant emojis.
Eggplant, everybody.
How often a week are you in trouble?
Every other week. I'd say
Really?
I'd say twice a month.
It's not that bad.
No, I mean just for
I would
like.
say one of those times is probably because she's PMSing.
That's
just
a good.
being honest.
I didn't say it, but I would agree.
Well, and this is not.
I didn't say that
This
either.
is not an offense to her. This is me being self-aware, and like every time that comes around, I am just an emotional C word. Why do I want to cuss so bad today? I can't even
Because
stop.
you're a mom, and
It's
you're
like
snapped.
great. So
There's
yeah.
no kids around. Cuss.
So, a few thoughts. I think, circling back, that we never happened from the female perspective because you didn't try hard enough. There were moments that was like, but you didn't go for the move. And so I'm not a girl who like gives it up easy. Like I like make the guys work. So it kind of makes sense, like hearing your perspective.
Yeah. So you remember when I said that I'm in trouble with my girlfriend like every 2 weeks? Just found another one.
Dude, it's just good radio. Are you kidding? Kenny would like shank me for this. And then,
Kenny, we're friends. No stabbing.
well, I mean, look. Well, and here's the thing. Actually, circling back to the other thing about married, single, dating, whatever. I mean,
Just a real quick pause. This segment's been over for a solid 40 seconds, but I want to hear the finish.
Okay. Oh, am I pausing?
Yeah, keep going.
I'm going.
Oh, don't we got to play some imaging again?
I'll play. Yeah, here you go.
Play the swinger one.
The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan. Here we have Brian Moote
This better not get me in trouble with my girlfriend.
and Brad Nolan.
No, my wife wants to flip the swinger switch.
Just two boys without man buns.
This should be called the shovel episode.
Is that the one you wanted?
Yeah.
That's the one you asked for, right?
The irony of all of it is like this is the perfect time to have that imaging, and I totally wanted it earlier when we were talking about your swinger messages. I think this is just called "Everyone's Sleeping on the Couch" night episode.
This is the Brian Moote Show. I'm Brad Nolan, and that's Brian Moote. Go ahead, Shireen.
Hi, friends. Does she listen to the show? Like, now you got me concerned for you.
Oh, I don't know. No,
hopefully not.
She's
hopefully
busy.
not.
We probably won't post this.
I mean,
after further review.
No, this one's private. Kidding.
I mean, okay.
Listen. I've learned this about having a relationship is be honest, and if I get in trouble for being honest about the realities of like funny human interactions and funny relationships and connections and all that stuff, well, at least I'm not being shady and hiding it. I mean, tell that to your husband.
Totally. But you know what, though? I did just have lunch with Mark Maron a few weeks ago, and he said he gets in trouble on his podcast if he works out his relationship stuff too much. So it did make me think about this, where I was like, okay, let's not get too crazy on the sharing.
Here's where you get in trouble with relationship stuff, is that when you aren't able to put it on yourself in a self-deprecating manner. Let me put it like this. So one of my biggest fights ever with my ex-wife, in terms of what I said on the radio, came from a place of like, I don't know this was a bad thing. I didn't know. So I woke up at 4:15 in the morning. I went to take a shower. I come back to the bedroom, and she's crying. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? And now, because I'm in trouble a lot, I'm like, oh no, what did I do? How did I screw this up already? And she goes, I just feel so fat today. And I was like, whoa, feel fat? Like, one, you're not fat, and two, how do you wake up feeling fat? Like, you wake up, you should just feel like tired. There's so many things you feel right now, but fat? Like, how do you feel fat? Because I don't understand women, and women can just wake up feeling a certain way. So I walk into the radio station studio I'm working at the time, and my co-host, Bert, is like, hey, man, and what's your morning like? And I'm like, oh, dude. My wife woke up like all crying and said she felt fat. And he goes, hold on a second, we're going on the air. Like, boom, button. He's like, what'd you say, Brian? I'm like, oh, my wife woke up and said she felt fat today. She's not fat. I don't understand how someone can wake up feeling fat. My phone, I could... like, I'm pretty sure it was on sleep mode. I could feel the fury vibrating through my pocket. And I'm like, oh, and I'm still in the segment. I'm in the middle of the segment. And I'm like, oh my God, that's got to be my wife. She is hitting me up right. She's blasting me right now in my, like, I can feel it vibrating harder and harder. I'm like, oh no. And then we end the segment. She's like, you just called me fat on the radio. And I was like, I did not. And you're already dead.
Yeah, you're not
over,
getting
dude.
out of it.
It's a wrap on that one. And so I realized, like, sometimes, like, you can't always control how people hear things. You can just control where your heart's at.
Where your heart is.
Well, and
what you say.
I think not really.
I feel like that made it sound more official. Can you do like a headlines thing?
Yeah, I got you.
Listen, all right, do it again.
Go ahead.
Listen, you can't control everybody hears what you say on the radio. All you can do is control where your heart's at. There we go. See?
There you go.
That's a headline. That's a fact. That's not fake news.
Yeah, that's real news.
That's real news. It's hard news.
But so this is circling back to me being super awkward and saying awkward things on here that could get you in trouble and probably me in trouble.
Just rolling out grenades.
First of all, I hope.
Yeah, by the way, the fact that you're doing this, Brad is in his mind going like, oh, Shreen's in every day. Every grenade you roll across the radio station table, it just ensures that you're just going to be in more and more often.
I just understand Brad more now. I just understand that you like to be unexpected and be the crazy rebel revolt guy and ruffle feathers. Like, I love that. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
You know, mad respect. Eggplant emoji, heart eyeball emoji. So, all right. That's too weird. Okay. So circling back to the single versus the dating. Blah, blah, blah. So partially, like, one of the reasons I feel like I could roll out weird bombs and say weird things is because I'm so married. Like, I'm so freaking married 4 years today.
Congratulations. That's right. You know what? We have a loophole right now that it's Shireen Shireen's anniversary.
Right.
I mean, we wouldn't talk about anything legitimately weird on Shireen's anniversary.
Right.
Let's try to ruin this.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I'm so married. I got the 2 kids. Like, I feel like I'm, like, in the safest. Like, I'm safe. Like, I could say whatever to you. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm not a cheater. Kenny and I are, like, crazy loyal. Like, so I feel like, whatever, dude. Like, I could just, it's fun. But if you listen to it, on the other hand, I might be also in a hole. Like, that might be bad.
Right.
But.
So, did you hit that thing? I've heard about this being a thing. When you're married and once you have kids, it's like you realize, like, you've come too far to turn back. You know what I mean? So, no, you got a level of, like, yeah, you might not like this, but what are you going to do? Leave me? We got kids. I mean, come on. It's going to take so much lawyers.
I could talk about my experience about that a little bit because we've been married less time than you have. So I'm going to talk about that, and then maybe you can clean up the mistakes I'm about to make.
Somebody. Good God, please.
So my wife and I recently came to the conclusion that, like, kind of like what Brian was saying earlier, is that you just got to be honest. And if we don't like each other when we're honest, then who cares? And we'll just get a divorce and move on. But, like, we've become this, like, very real. I think the thing that you're saying, Brian, is, like, after marriage and a kid, in my case, you go, yeah, no, this is cool. I don't need to worry about anything else. And it's just like there's not really much you can't talk through at that point. And if you can't, then you should just roll out the lawyers and get it done.
Yeah.
Right. Because if there's anything you can't talk about, and I have weird ass stories from the last couple of days from my wife finding some stuff in my phone.
Oh God, I've been there.
But it's not even like bad stuff. She just goes, "Hey, why didn't you include me on that porn thing you were doing?" And so
I've got porn stories.
And so for me, it's just like, yeah, man, this is it. This is cool. I don't need to worry about anything. And if we can't be honest with each other, then there's other problems.
You know, I think that's honestly, like, I had a breakthrough with my girlfriend Jessica, because she is under a lot of pressure. She's we're doing a long distance thing. She's living in my townhouse. I put a lot on her when I moved out here, but it was a mutual decision. Like, I ran this by her before I even took the job. And what I learned was we had that little Twitter DM situation where she found messages from me to a girl that I knew 10 years ago, and they were completely benign, no big deal, and she was stressed out and tired, and we dropped it. She actually cracked a joke about it last night, which she's funny for doing this, and I was being a sensitive little bitch. So she goes, I'm like, what are you up to? And she's like, nothing, just about to watch a movie. I got the pups with me. Like, she's got my dog with her, for God's sake. And she goes, I got the pups with me, and I'm about to watch a movie. What are you up to? And I'm like, well, and she goes, I don't DM. She goes, you DMing girls on Twitter? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about that right now. And she laughed, and I was like, damn, she got me. I was a little snowflake right there. I was like, man, what are you talking about? Twitter DM, now we're in a good place. I'm a big baby.
Long day. No, she said it was even cleaner that she said it, right? She said, long day of DMing on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. She was way funnier about it.
She's got the good comedy.
And she said it so, like, it was so sleight of hand, like passing, where she was like, I'm just DMing chicks on Twitter all day. Oh my God, are your fingers tired from DMing everybody all day? DMing everybody? And I should have fired back. Well, you should know you're logged into my Twitter.
That would have been perfect.
But instead, I was like, leave me alone. Like, I'm taking my ball and going home.
That's funny.
The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
And now, a thought from Geico Motorcycle.
It took 15 minutes to take a spirit animal quiz online.
Please be the cheetah. Please be the cheetah.
And learn your animal isn't the cheetah, but the far less appealing blobfish.
Oh, come on.
To add insult to injury, you could have used those 15 blobfish minutes to switch your motorcycle insurance to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on motorcycle insurance.
Johnny got a toy golf set when he was 3, and from that day on, he was hooked. All he wanted to do was golf, golf, golf. He'd be on the links before school, after school. All he ever wanted was to go pro. And then, one day, when he was holding his grandson and thinking about his 12 handicap, Johnny realized it just might not happen for him. But you know what did happen for him? He switched to Geico and saved a bunch of money on car insurance. So that was good, and so was hanging out with his grandson.